I thought I had it all figured out. 12 years of marriage, 2 beautiful daughters, Emma 16 and Sarah 14. My wife Diane just got promoted to marketing director at her tech company, and our family seemed to be hitting that sweet spot where everything finally clicked into place. But lately, something felt off. Diane was coming home later and later, always with some excuse about deadlines and client meetings. The girls seemed distant, whispering with their mom and going quiet whenever I walked into the room. That Friday night when Diane left her phone at home, I never thought the people I loved most would be the ones to destroy me. Before we get into what happened next, drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like button and subscribe, because what I am about to share will show you why trust once broken in a family leaves scars deeper than any wound. This is a story about betrayal, justice, and learning that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who underestimate you the most. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let me paint you a picture of what my life looked like before everything fell apart. I am Cedric, 35 years old, and I work as a software engineer. Since the pandemic hit, I have been working from home, which honestly I loved. It meant I could be there for my girls, make dinner every night, help with homework, and keep our house running smoothly. Diane, my wife, worked as a marketing director for a mid-sized tech company downtown. About 6 months ago, they brought in a new vice president named Justin. He was 42, recently divorced, and from what Diane told me, he was shaking things up at the company. I was proud of Diane. She worked hard, put in long hours, and I respected her ambition. I picked up the slack at home without complaint. I cooked meals, drove the girls to their activities, did the laundry, handled the grocery shopping. I figured that was what marriage was about, supporting each other's dreams. Diane would come home exhausted, and I would have dinner waiting. She would tell me about her day, about the new campaigns they were launching, about how Justin was pushing the team to think bigger. Emma and Sarah adored their mother. Every weekend, the three of them would go shopping together, get their nails done, hit up the spa. I did not mind. I thought it was healthy for them to have that mother-daughter bond. Sometimes I felt a little left out, but I told myself that was normal. Teenage girls need their mom, right? The changes started about 3 months ago. Subtle at first, Diane began staying at the office until 9 or 10 at night. When I asked about it, she had perfectly reasonable explanations. Big project with Justin. Important client presentation. Deadline for a new campaign launch. I believed her because why would I not? We had built our life on trust. Then, I started noticing other things. Diane bought a whole new wardrobe. Suddenly, she was wearing fitted dresses and heels to work instead of her usual business casual. She joined a gym and went religiously every morning at 5:30. Her hair was always perfectly styled. She wore makeup every single day, even on weekends. When I complimented her, telling her she looked amazing, she would smile and say the new position required her to look more polished, more professional. I took it as a good sign. My wife was taking care of herself, feeling confident. I was happy for her. But there were other things I could not quite explain. Emma and Sarah started having these whispered conversations with their mother. They would be talking in the kitchen, and the moment I walked in, they would go silent. When I asked what they were discussing, they would say it was just girl stuff, nothing important. I laughed it off. I figured they were talking about boys or school drama, things they did not want to share with their dad. The girls also started making comments. Little jabs that seemed harmless at the time, but looking back, they stung. Sarah said one night at dinner, "Dad, why do you always wear those same old jeans? Mom looks so nice all the time." Emma chimed in, "Yeah, maybe you should try harder with your appearance." I shrugged it off, made a joke about being comfortable. But it planted a seed of doubt. Was I becoming boring? Had I let myself go? Still, I did not suspect anything. Not really. I trusted Diane completely. We had been together since college. We built this life together. She was the mother of my children. The idea that she would betray me never crossed my mind. Then came that Friday night. Diane told me she had a client dinner, something important with a potential new account. Justin was going to be there along with the sales team. She kissed me goodbye around 6 p.m. smelling of expensive perfume, wearing a black dress I had never seen before. I was on the couch watching a basketball game when I heard the buzzing. Her phone was on the kitchen counter. She had forgotten it. At first I ignored it, but it kept buzzing, over and over. I got up to turn it on silent and saw the name on the screen, Justin. But it was not just his name. There was a little red heart emoji next to it. My stomach dropped. The preview of the message showed on the lock screen. Cannot wait to see you tonight, baby. Hotel room is ready. I stared at that screen for what felt like an eternity. My hands were shaking. I knew Diane's passcode. We had never hidden our phones from each other. It was one of those things we were proud of, this complete transparency. I unlocked the phone. What I found destroyed me. Months of messages. Hundreds of them. Justin and Diane exchanging photos, making plans, talking about their future together. There were pictures of Diane in lingerie taken in hotel rooms I did not recognize. Messages about how much they missed each other, how hard it was to hide their relationship at work, how they could not wait until they could be together openly. Justin talked about leaving his ex-wife behind, about how Diane was the woman he had been waiting for his whole life. I scrolled back through the timeline. It started 2 months ago. 2 months of lies. 2 months of client dinners and late meetings and gym sessions. I felt like I was going to throw up. But then I saw something that made it even worse. A message from Emma. Mom, Dad is asking questions. Stick to the story about the client dinner. I opened the thread between Diane and Emma. My 16-year-old daughter had been covering for her mother's affair, helping her create alibis, warning her when I seemed suspicious. Then I checked Sarah's messages. My 14-year-old was in on it too. We covered for you. He does not suspect anything. I sat there in the dark living room, my wife's phone in my hand, and realized my entire family had been lying to me. Not just Diane. My daughters too. The people I loved most in the world had turned into strangers, and I was the only fool who did not see it coming. I could have confronted Diane right then. Part of me wanted to. I wanted to scream, to throw things, to demand answers. But something stopped me. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was the engineer in me, the part that always thinks logically, strategically. I realized that if I confronted her now, in this emotional state, I would lose. She would cry, make excuses, and somehow I would end up being the bad guy. No. I needed to be smart about this. I put the phone back exactly where Diane had left it. I went back to the couch and pretended to watch the game, but I was not seeing anything. My mind was racing, planning. Diane came home around 11 p.m. Her makeup was smudged. She smelled like hotel, soap, and a cologne that was not mine. When I asked how the dinner went, she looked me straight in the eye and lied. She told me about the client, described the restaurant, talked about the deal they were closing. Every word was fiction, and she delivered it without hesitation. I nodded, smiled, said I was proud of her. Inside, I was dying. Over the next week, I became a detective in my own home. I installed monitoring software on Diane's phone while she was sleeping. I put a small camera in her car, hidden in the sun visor. I went through our credit card statements and found charges I had missed before. Hotel rooms downtown, expensive dinners at restaurants we had never been to together, jewelry purchases from stores I did not recognize. She had been using our joint account money I earned to finance her affair. The messages kept coming. I read every one. Diane and Justin talking about their future. He promised her he would finalize his divorce soon, that they could go public with their relationship. She talked about how much happier she was with him, how he made her feel young again, how he understood her in ways I never could. But what hurt most was the role my daughters played. Emma was not just covering for Diane. She was actively helping. She had lied to my face multiple times, telling me Mom was at the gym when she was really at a hotel. She had deleted search history on our family computer, covering up Diane's hotel bookings. Sarah was not as involved, but she knew. She knew, and she said nothing. I had to understand why. Why would my own children help their mother betray me? That weekend, Diane went on a business trip. According to her, she was flying to San Francisco for a conference. In reality, the monitoring app showed me she was driving to Lake Tahoe with Justin for a romantic getaway. I sat Emma and Sarah down in the living room. I pulled up the messages between them and their mother on my laptop. I watched their faces go pale. "I want to know why," I said calmly. "Why did you help her?" Emma recovered first. "She was always the bolder one." "Mom deserves to be happy, Dad. You have gotten so boring. All you do is work and cook and watch TV. Justin makes her feel alive. He takes her to nice places. He buys her things. He treats her like she is special." I stared at my daughter. "And I do not." Sarah jumped in defensive. "You do not even try anymore, Dad. Look at yourself. You wear the same clothes every day. You have not taken Mom on a date in forever. She works so hard and you just expect her to come home to the same boring routine. Why should she stay with you when Justin makes her so much happier?" I tried to explain. I talked about marriage, about commitment, about how relationships take work from both people. I reminded them of all the years Diane and I had built together, the sacrifices I made to support her career. But they did not want to hear it. In their eyes, I was the problem. I was the boring dad who had let himself go. Justin was exciting, successful, fun. Emma delivered the final blow. "If you guys divorce, we are choosing Mom. Justin is way cooler than you. He has a nice car and takes us shopping. You just make us do chores." I realized then that Diane had been poisoning them against me. Probably for months. Painting me as the obstacle to her happiness. Making them see me as a burden instead of a father who loved them. The conversation ended in cold silence. My daughters went to their rooms. I sat alone trying to process the fact that my entire family had turned against me. When Diane returned from her business trip, she brought back souvenirs. A sweatshirt from San Francisco, even though she had not been anywhere near the city. She showed me photos on her phone of the conference. I recognized the background. She had downloaded stock photos from the internet. That night, I made my move. I waited until we were both in the living room. She was scrolling through her phone, probably texting Justin. I picked up the remote and turned on the TV. But instead of a show, I pulled up the video files from the camera in her car. There on our 65-inch screen was footage of Diane and Justin in the hotel parking lot. Kissing. His hands all over her. Her laughing. Looking happier than I had seen her in years. Diane's face went white. The phone dropped from her hand. "Cedric, I can explain. Can you?" I opened my laptop and started displaying screenshots, messages, photos, hotel receipts, bank statements showing thousands of dollars spent on her affair. She tried to deny it at first, but the evidence was overwhelming. Then she switched tactics. Suddenly, it was all my fault. "You became too comfortable," she said, her voice sharp. "I needed excitement. Justin understands me. He makes me feel desired. You just see me as the mother of your children, as someone who cooks and cleans. I am more than that. The girls see it too," she continued. "You are not the man I married. You have let yourself go. I deserve better." I stayed calm. "So you want a divorce?" "Yes." She lifted her chin. "And I want custody of the girls. They should be with me." That was when I smiled. "Okay, we will talk about divorce terms." Diane looked surprised that I was not fighting. She probably expected me to beg to plead for another chance. Instead, I closed my laptop and went to bed. She had no idea what was coming. The next morning, I contacted Harold, the best divorce attorney in the city. I had done my research. Harold had a reputation for being ruthless but fair. He did not lose cases. I walked into his office with 2 flash drives containing every piece of evidence I had collected. Text messages, photos, videos, bank statements, GPS tracking data. Harold spread it all out on his conference table and whistled. "This is airtight," he said. "Your wife used marital funds to conduct an affair. In this state, that is considered dissipation of marital assets. We can use this." "What about custody?" I asked. with evidence that she prioritized an affair over her children's well-being, involved the children in covering up her infidelity, and created an unstable home environment. We have a strong case, but I was not done. I had one more move to make. Justin worked as a vice president at Diane's company. What he did not know was that the company had a strict policy against relationships between supervisors and subordinates, especially when one party has direct authority over the other. It was considered a conflict of interest and grounds for immediate termination. Through Harold, I sent an anonymous email to the company's human resources department and the CEO. I included evidence of the relationship between Justin and Diane. I showed how Justin had given Diane her promotion, right around the time their affair started. I provided testimony from other employees gathered through a private investigator who said they had been passed over for promotions that went to Diane instead. Within 3 days, the company launched an internal investigation. They discovered that Justin had been using his position to benefit Diane unfairly. He had given her preferential treatment, better assignments, and blocked other employees from advancing. He had also had inappropriate relationships with 2 other female employees before Diane. Justin was fired within the week. He lost his 6-figure salary, his stock options, and his year-end bonus that would have been worth over $200,000. His reputation in the industry was destroyed. Diane was called into HR next. They could not fire her because she was technically the victim of a superior's advances, but they demoted her. She was moved to a different department, stripped of her director title, and her salary was cut by 40%. Everyone in the office knew why. She went from being respected to being the subject of gossip and judgment. When Diane came home that evening, she was in tears. Justin had stopped answering her calls. He blamed her for the investigation, said she must have told someone. Their dream of being together publicly was over. He wanted nothing to do with her. I did not say a word. I just handed her the divorce papers. She read through them, her hands shaking. I was asking for the house since I had paid the majority of the mortgage. I wanted our savings divided based on actual contribution, which heavily favored me since I had been the primary earner for most of our marriage. I demanded repayment for the money she had taken from our joint account to spend on Justin. And I was asking for primary custody of Emma and Sarah. "You cannot take my daughters," she said. "Watch me." The custody battle was brutal. Diane hired a lawyer and fought hard. She told the court that the girls wanted to live with her, that I was trying to punish her by taking them away. But Harold was prepared. He presented evidence that Diane had involved Emma and Sarah in covering up her affair, teaching them that deception and betrayal were acceptable. He showed how she had used marital funds meant for the children's future on hotels and gifts for her lover. He brought in a child psychologist, who explained how Diane's behavior had created an unstable and confusing environment for the girls. The judge ordered private interviews with Emma and Sarah. A court-appointed counselor spoke with them separately without either parent present. And something shifted. Away from Diane's influence, faced with a neutral adult asking them direct questions, my daughters started to see things differently. The counselor asked them if they felt safe, if they understood what had happened, if they knew that their mother's choices had consequences. Emma broke down crying. She admitted that she was confused, that she felt guilty for lying to me, that she did not really want to choose sides. Sarah was quieter, but she said something that the counselor included in her report. "I miss my dad. I miss when we were all together. I do not understand why Mom did what she did." The judge took 2 weeks to make a decision. When the ruling came down, I got primary custody. Diane would have the girls every other weekend and alternating holidays. The house stayed with me. The assets were divided 70-30 in my favor. Diane had to repay $37,000 that she had spent on her affair from our joint accounts. She stood in that courtroom, looking smaller than I had ever seen her. She had lost Justin. She had lost her job status. She had lost her daughters. And she had lost me. But I had one more lesson to teach. Emma and Sarah moved back in full time. At first, they were angry. They blamed me for destroying the family. They did not speak to me for the first week, just went to school and stayed in their rooms. I did not push. I cooked their favorite meals. I made sure they had everything they needed. I was just there, steady and present the way I had always been. Diane moved into a small apartment across town. She could not afford anything nicer, not with her reduced salary and the money she owed me. She had to move in with her mother temporarily to save money. The girls would go visit her on weekends, and each time they came back, they were quieter. One night, about 3 months after the divorce was finalized, Emma knocked on my bedroom door. "Dad, can we talk?" She sat on the edge of my bed, and for the first time in months, she looked like my little girl again. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am so sorry. I did not understand what I was doing. Mom made it seem like you were the problem, like you were holding her back. But now I see. She lied to all of us. She destroyed our family, not you. Sarah came in too. We miss the way things were. We miss you, Dad. We should have never helped her." I pulled both of them into a hug. "I forgive you. You are kids. You should not have been put in that position. Your mom made bad choices, and she involved you in them. That was not fair to you. Why did you fight so hard for us?" Emma asked. "We were terrible to you." "Because I am your father," I said simply. "And fathers do not give up on their children, even when things get hard. I wanted you to learn that actions have consequences, but I also wanted you to know that I will always be here for you." That conversation was a turning point. Emma and Sarah started opening up to me again. We had family dinners where we actually talked. We went hiking on weekends. I helped them with school projects. Slowly, we started to heal. It has been a year since the divorce. I am not going to lie and say everything is perfect because it is not. Emma still has moments where she misses the old family dynamic. Sarah sometimes asks questions about why adults make the choices they do. But we are in therapy together, all three of us working through the trauma. Diane is still in their lives, but the relationship is different. She sees them every other weekend, but she is not the fun, exciting mom anymore. She is just tired. She is dating again, but nothing serious. Justin is long gone, remarried to someone else now, from what I hear. Diane sends me apologetic texts sometimes, saying she regrets everything, that she wishes she could go back. I respond politely, but I do not engage beyond what is necessary for co-parenting. I have moved on. Not with another relationship, not yet. But I joined a running club and made new friends. I got a promotion at work that came with a significant raise. I have been taking the girls on trips, just the three of us. We went camping in Yellowstone last summer. We are planning a trip to New York City this winter. I am not bitter. People ask me that a lot. Are not you angry? Do not you hate her? And honestly, no. I moved on, not because I forgave her completely, but because holding on to anger would only hurt me. Diane made her choices. She is living with the consequences. I made my choices too. End of Tropter.com. I chose to protect myself, to protect my daughters, to show them that self-respect is non-negotiable. The girls learned something important through all of this. Emma told me recently that she broke up with a boy at school who was treating her poorly. I remembered what you said, Dad. That we teach people how to treat us. I was not going to let him disrespect me. I have never been more proud. Sarah is more cautious now, more thoughtful. She watches how people treat each other. She asks me questions about relationships, about trust, about how to know if someone really cares about you. We have conversations I never thought I would have with a 15-year-old, but I am glad we are having them. As for me, I learned that silence does not mean weakness. Sometimes the strongest move is to observe, gather your strength, and act strategically. I learned that revenge is not about destruction. It is about justice. It is about protecting yourself from further harm. And I learned that your children are always watching. They need to see you stand up for yourself, see you refuse to be disrespected, see you handle difficult situations with dignity. People ask me if I would do anything differently. Honestly, no. I gave Diane every chance to be honest. I supported her career, took care of our home, loved her unconditionally. When she chose to betray, that when she involved our children in her lies, she made her choice. I just made sure that choice had real consequences. Today, I am building a life based on honesty, not illusions. Emma and Sarah are learning what real integrity looks like. We are not perfect, but we are real. And that is a life worth living. If you are going through something similar, let me tell you this. You deserve respect. You deserve honesty. You deserve a partner who values you. Never settle for less. And when people underestimate you, when they think you will just accept their betrayal and move on, prove them wrong. Not with anger. Not with bitterness. But with action. Protect yourself. Stand up for your worth. And teach your children through your example that self-respect is the foundation of everything. So what do you think? Have you ever been in a situation where someone you trusted completely betrayed you? How did you handle it? Drop a comment below and share your story. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel because I share real stories about real struggles and how people overcome them. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Someone who is going through their own battle and needs to know they are not alone. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it was not easy to hear, but I hope it reminded you that you are stronger than you think, that you can survive betrayal, that you can come out the other side not just intact but better. Take care of yourself, value yourself, and never let anyone make you feel like you deserve less than respect and honesty. Until next time, stay strong.